Oh, yeah.
For the Niners. Thank you, thank you. Okay, hey, everybody. Do we have anybody out there? Oh, we do. We got some people out there. Hey, I know. It's so fun to have power and light and heat. We've been out of power for a few days. Yeah, you're right. I know. It's so great to be here. And so, welcome. It's February. It's Heart Month. So I'm kind of doing my annual Heart Month push with a few little changes. And I'll talk about our snacks in a minute for those of you who are out there in Zoom land. But we are doing Super Bowl snacks and we're doing a 7-layer dip today. How is it, you guys? Good? 7-layer dip is my family's thing. We always want to have 7-layer dip on Super Bowl Sunday. So it's good. This one doesn't have sour cream or cheese or even really avocado. So how's everybody doing? Good. Sharon, so fun to have you back. Ah. Okay. Well, let's see. Let's get going. We're talking about not just healthy heart today, but meal planning for a healthy heart. So we're kind of touching a little bit of everything. Because February is Heart Month, I always give my annual push for that and for Go Red for Women Day. And we know, and I'm sure you know, because we've drilled it into everybody, that heart disease is the #1 killer of all Americans and more than all the cancers combined. And it's for men and women. And 1 in 5 deaths in the US is from heart disease. And so the thing is, there's so much we can do to prevent it and take care of it if we have it. So that's what we're going to talk about, because this is kind of a depressing statistic that in the US, someone has a heart attack every 40 seconds. So it's more than 800,000 deaths a year. So we want to change that. And that's why y'all are here. And that's why you work so hard. So that's not going to be, we're not going to become a statistic, right? So the risk factors for heart disease are the things that we want to focus on to reduce our risk of being in a statistic. So diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol are all risk factors, all the things we work on around here. An unhealthy diet, not moving, so a lack of activity, obesity or being overweight, smoking. And what do you think that last one is down there? Alcohol, excess alcohol. Thank you.
But 1 glass of wine.
That's probably okay. I think we can get away with that. I'm hoping anyway. Yeah, you were right. So these are the things we want to work on. And that's what we do here, is all the things, all of the talks that people have, all the classes that Linda leads and Sharon talks and everybody, they're all to talk about these kind of things. And so this was just a little statistic thing I saw. They have these slides of the US, and there are these colored slides. There are ones for diabetes. This one happens to be for heart disease. There are ones for obesity, and it shows where the clusters of the risk death rates are for heart disease in the US, people aged 35 and over. So the darker the color, the higher the rates. So we can see we're down there in the South, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Oklahoma, California. We're not in the super dark, but we're working up. And you know, the sad thing about these little maps is that they keep having to add more colors because the rates keep going up. And look, Colorado is always the holdout. It's the one that always stays the best colors. What is it about Colorado? Yeah, you're right. Arizona is good too. Yeah, I wonder why that is. So Minnesota is excellent. You are right. Yeah.
Maybe they're not reporting it.
Oh,
They're just in their homes like, I'm not gonna let anybody
I'm not letting anybody know. You were right. But I think we're living on the right side of the US. And we want to keep our colors low or into the low range. And then a few more stats on heart disease every 23 seconds. Someone is diagnosed with diabetes. Oh, these are more my diabetes related stats. Since diabetes is a risk factor for heart disease, every 23 seconds, someone is diagnosed with diabetes in the US. Every 2 minutes, a person will die with diabetes from complications. So sad. People with diabetes have 2 to 4 times the risk of having a heart attack or a stroke. And you know, the thing is, diabetes is something, if we don't have it yet, we want to prevent getting it. And all the things we're doing for our heart are going to help reduce our risk of diabetes too. So what do you think based on this? What's the answer to all these stats? I don't know. Don't get diabetes. Don't get heart disease. So how are we going to do that? The commercials would make you think Ozempic is the answer to everything, or Mounjaro, or that new one Lilly's got out now. And those do possibly help, I guess. But, you know, it's funny. I was just reading something about the new one, the new medication. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then you must not watch commercials. So you don't have the Hulu. Like I do, but we watch commercials. They're always about these injectables that are diabetes medication. And they're actually a great medication. When I worked in the diabetes, and we use them all the time because they're super effective. And now Lilly is coming up. Lilly is the drug manufacturer, and Novo makes Ozempic, and Lilly is doing a new one. And apparently it's going to be even better and going to help people lose weight more. But it was funny, in the little study I read, the people lost 1 pound a week over 23 weeks. Well, if we just ate healthy and exercised, we could all do that too without an injection. So I think most everybody here, we're trying to stay off medications or get rid of medications. So the thing is, and I'm here to tell you, what you do on your own is going to be just as good as the meds. So, and plus those meds are expensive. So the key to reducing our risk of all those things is a healthy lifestyle. So they did do a little study at the Harvard School of Public Health, and they say that if we had a healthy lifestyle by focusing on, I'm going to jump to that, what we eat, how we move, and how we rest. Rest and sleep have taken a huge part of our health goals. We can reduce our risk of sudden cardiac death by 80% and premature death from heart disease by 72%. So it's all about healthy lifestyle. It's not just one thing. It's not just diet. It's not just exercise. It's not just not smoking. It's putting those together. It's eating right, it's moving, and it's resting and managing our stress. So this is from the Heart Association. They have this Life's Essential 8. It used to be just 7. I think they added sleep to it when they changed it up a few years ago. And they say if everybody followed these things or took care of these things in their health, they're going to have less risk of having a heart attack or stroke. So we're going to start up here with the food. So it's eating right. And you know, we're here about whole food, plant-based diet. That's what we push the most. That's been the only diet to help reverse heart disease or diabetes. But the truth is, if we just ate a healthier diet, that's going to help. So I know they've got fish in there. I wish they didn't, but they do. So healthy diet, moving or exercise. That's a little blood sugar monitor. So it's managing your blood sugars if you have high blood sugars. Managing your weight, that's a scale. Keeping your cholesterol in a good level. Keeping your blood pressure in a good level. Not smoking, and getting enough sleep. Those are the essential 8 to help reduce our risk of heart disease or diabetes even. And I'm going to throw in Alzheimer's too. The thing is, they have all these little different studies and all these special little things, but it all comes down to this. That's going to help reduce our risk of those chronic diseases. So, and like I said, to prevent and reverse heart disease, a whole food plant-based diet is the only one that's been shown to actually reverse it. Now, I know not everybody here is doing that yet or wants to, but if we're moving more that way, if we're just eating more, and I think that's what my slides will show, we're just eating more produce, eating more plants, eating a little less animal, we're going to have a huge benefit.
When you say reverse, you
Yeah.
mean really reverse or just staying put?
That is so good. Yes. No, I mean, for diabetes, we can take it back to like, we don't have diabetes. We can reverse it that way. But if we quit doing all the things we did, it would come back. So it's really more of a remission thing. But for the heart disease, they have shown that the plaque in our arteries can reverse. So that can. So did I skip a slide here? Oh, so yeah, here's our pharmacy is eating our produce. Beautiful. And then here would be the diet that we're promoting. Now, like I said, if you're not ready for this, that's okay. We want to be somewhere on the spectrum where we're eating more plants, less animals. But here would be a whole food, plant-based diet plate where we've got fruits and vegetables, whole grains, legumes are our protein as opposed to animal foods. And then I wrote at the bottom, easy on the SOS. You'll hear a lot of times about SOS free diets. That's salt, oil, and sugar. It doesn't mean we can't have them, but we want to go easier on them. Because if you've ever tried, and I really think back in the day when we were at like the reversal program, we were doing fat-free, and a lot of our stuff ended up, you add a bunch of sugar to it to make it taste good. And so the sugar we've discovered over the years is just as bad. It's inflammatory. It's not good for us either. So we want to go easy on those things. I think everybody knows the salt, but we want to go easy on the oil and sugar too. Doesn't mean we can't have it. We just want to go easy on it. So here would be our whole food plant-based diet just for general good health. So 4 to 5 cups of fruits and vegetables every day, all the colors, organic when you can. If you can't, that's okay. So who thinks they're getting 4 to 5 cups of fruits and veggies a day combined? So you have a fruit for breakfast, you have vegetables at lunch. You know, when I did food logs for people, I noticed they all saved up their vegetables till dinner, in which case they were never getting 4 to 5 cups. So it's good to have them throughout the day, like we just had, and you add them kind of secretly to things that you're eating through the day. So we just had 7-layer dip, which traditionally isn't full of vegetables, and this one was. Try to get rid of refined carbs. So we're trying to eat, that's like sugar and starchy things. Refined carbs are processed white flour stuff. Normally you don't just sit down and eat a bowl of flour, right? So they have to add something to it to make us want to eat it. So a lot of times that's oil, sugar, or salt. So we want to get rid of the refined white flour stuff. We want to try to eat whole foods in their most natural form. I'll show you what I mean by whole grains. I mean, we know whole fruit is just fruit. Whole vegetables are just regular vegetables. But in the grains world, that gets a little questionable. So I'll show you what I mean by whole grains there. We want to boost up our fiber. You know, if you happen to be going plant-based and you're eating plants, all your friends and family are going to freak out because they're going to say, oh my gosh, how are you going to get your fiber? I mean, no, we're going to get fiber. How are you going to get your protein? Well, we can get plenty of protein, but nobody ever asked, how are you going to get your fiber? That's what we're deficient in America is fiber. And so we want to choose whole real foods that have as much fiber as possible in them. And there's soluble fiber that helps lower your cholesterol. That's what I put in there, oats, beans, and barley. Now, all fiber has a little of both kinds, but insoluble fiber would be the kind that we have in wheat. So if you have wheat bran, that's insoluble fiber. Insoluble fiber is good for us because it helps to increase our stool bulk, helps to make soft stools. Soluble fiber is good because it forms a little gel in our gut and carries bad stuff out like cholesterol. It makes us feel more full. Now, I don't know if you've heard about glycemic load or glycemic index. So I know you've heard of carbs, and most everybody's saying, oh my gosh, we shouldn't have any carbs. Carbs are bad. Well, carbs are fine if we're choosing the right kind of carbs. So low glycemic carbs would be the ones we just talked about, high fiber, not processed, and fruits and vegetables. Those are our low glycemic carbs, meaning they're not going to raise our blood sugar as much. So we love those. Our non-starchy veggies. What's a non-starchy veggie? Carrots, green beans, tomatoes, yeah. What's a starchy veggie? Potatoes, everybody knew that. Potatoes, corn, and peas. So, and select your whole grains carefully. So we just want to be a little carb careful. We don't have to eat be low carb. So like a granola bar is not the same as having a bowl of oatmeal. But I think the marketing would make you think so. So choose whole intact grains, and I think I have a little picture of that. So a whole grain would be one like this is a little kernel of something that grew wheat that grew out in the field, and it's got this layer around the outside that's called bran, and then it's got this white fluffy stuff in the middle that's called endosperm, and then it's got this germ that's got little vitamins in it and a little fat, and that's what feeds the grain. And so when we strip off the bran, when we get rid of the germ, all we have is the nice white fluffy stuff, and that is a refined grain. So we want to eat whole grains as much as possible and whole intact, meaning nobody's messed with it at all. So here's some whole grains. Tell me what you like here. We got our oats. Everybody knows about oats. What else? Quinoa. Okay, we gotta love the quinoa. You're right. Okay. What else? What else do you like? Brown rice. Anybody here use wheat berries? I'm a lover of the wheat berries. They grind up wheat berries to make your whole wheat. She makes wheat berry bread. I bet that's amazing. Okay, wheat berry bread. Buckwheat, by its name, sounds like it should contain wheat and have gluten, but it's actually gluten-free. So it's just a nice sturdy grain. These are more sturdy grains, I guess. Corn, there's our barley. It's going to help lower cholesterol. Amaranth is one that we don't, I think, use a whole lot around here. Anybody use amaranth? Every once in a while, especially when I'm getting into a whole grain lecture, I'll start making amaranth all the time. But it's good for breakfast. I like it for breakfast. I actually have no idea what the quinoa is. Does anybody know? One of these days, I'll actually look it up so I can tell you. Freekeh is a whole grain that you can buy it. Bob's Red Mill makes it, and it has a bit of a smoky flavor. They kind of smoke it. There's our wild rice. Triticale is just another whole grain. Sorghum, which I've actually been cooking with a bit. Sorghum. Bulgur, black rice, spelt, all great. So if you're thinking, yeah, I like my whole grains, but all I eat is brown rice and oatmeal, good. But let's add another one maybe. Let's try a little barley. I really feel barley is an underused grain because we all grew up on it with beef barley soup, but then we quit having it when we were growing up. So it's a great one. It's cheap. It takes longer to cook, like most of the whole grains. Quinoa is the only one that really doesn't take too much, and bulgur don't take too much time to cook, but like around 40 minutes. So I encourage you this month for Heart Month, try a new whole grain.
I mean, isn't there something like overnight?
Yes.
Can't you put the,
Bulgur.
Yeah.
You could totally use bulgur because
Okay.
yeah, bulgur would be okay for an overnight too. Like wheat berries wouldn't, but yeah, bulgur is a quick cooker. Okay, so more tips. So we're doing our whole foods tips. Eliminate animal products, and if you're not ready for that, at least processed and red meats. Those have definitely been shown to cause cancer. They also, I was just listening to a podcast today, they said there was a new study that showed that people who ate the least processed meat had less risk of getting diabetes. Eat beans or legumes every day. That's beans, lentils, split peas every day. Do we eat beans every day? Anybody? You're eating beans right now. They're in our 7-layer. But beans are high in fiber, high in protein. They're a great source of all the vitamins and minerals. So beans, they fill us up. They help lower our cholesterol. So we want to eat beans as much as we can. You don't have to always make them from scratch, but you can use canned and just get the low sodium if you do that. Try to stick with whole foods. And so if fat whole foods would be where the fat came from. Like olives, we squish all the oil out of it. So we ate olives, that's going to be a whole food. Soybeans, nuts, seeds, all higher in fat, but they're in their most natural form. Maximize our foods that have lots of antioxidants and are anti-inflammatory. Both things help reduce risk of chronic disease. So fruits and vegetables, all those colorful fruits and vegetables contain antioxidants and anti-inflammatory components that are going to help reduce our risk of disease. Sprouting, as it turns out, really increases the antioxidant power in our foods. Does anybody here sprout? Sprout? Do you sprout? You're like bean sprouts? Yeah. Yeah. Bean sprouts. So you can buy like little mung beans, or I've been doing it lately with the broccoli sprouts, which I bought online. They're just little tiny things. You put like a tablespoon in a jar, you rinse it out, you rinse it twice a day, you keep it in the jar. In like 4 days, you're going to have a whole jar full of sprouts. And that just increase, you don't need a whole lot of those at one time, but it increases your antioxidants. And herbs and spices, don't forget about them as a source of antioxidants and anti-inflammatory foods. And then we want to minimize things that cause this oxidation. And I didn't say what oxidation was. So if you're not familiar with it, it is like the rust on your car is oxidation. And so we can get that inside our body and our blood vessels, in our cholesterol. So we want to risk this rust, and fried foods are a common source, oxidized fats. So limiting our fried foods and achieving and maintaining a healthy body weight that's good for you. We don't have to weigh what we did in high school. We just want to achieve a healthy weight and keep it at that weight.
What are some of the spices that are antioxidant?
So the big one everyone knows, of course, is the turmeric. Turmeric is a really big one, and it has curcumin in it. And so that's a good one, but you could do cinnamon, you could do ginger. Give me another one. Anybody? The spice. I'm not thinking of any others. Those are the big ones.
Nutmeg.
Nutmeg is a good one. And it probably has some. Yeah. Cayenne. There's a good one. Thank you. Cayenne is a good one too.
Cloves.
Cloves? Yeah. Thanks. And I just have a whole blank. Okay. Good one. Thank you. Good question, Sharon. So if you're thinking, oh, okay, how am I going to get my protein if you're not going to let me have animals? Well, our beans and legumes are going to be good. They have quite a bit of protein per just a half cup serving of cooked. You can cook them, and you can cook them from dry, or you can use canned. Lentils count here. Soybeans count here. Split peas of any color, because you can have green split peas, yellow split peas. Those all count. And then our nuts and seeds are also a great source of protein. They are, because they're not super low in fat, they are higher in calories. So if we're watching our weight, we don't want to go overboard in it. But back in the day, we used to say, oh my gosh, if you're going to want to lose weight, don't eat any nuts. And now they're finding that the calories in nuts don't necessarily contribute to your weight as much. So we want to watch our portions, but we don't have to avoid them like we used to. And we don't want to get those like big Costco jars of nuts and then just keep eating them all night. We really want to portion them out. Because everybody, I think, is familiar with those. Nut butters, a couple tablespoons is a serving, like peanut butter, almond butter, sunflower butter. And then our seeds would be flax, hemp, sesame, sunflower seeds, all good sources. What do we do with that? What do we do with flax seeds? Anybody? Right. I do too. I do too. In your beans? And you put flax in there? Excellent. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yes. Okay. Excellent. I think that's what I tend to do with mine too. Or I'll make muffins or baked goods. I'll include that. It's and yeah. So the flax, thank you for saying that, can be an egg replacement in your baked dishes too. An egg replacement. So you're making brownies and you're making these healthy brownies and they call for eggs. So if you mix a tablespoon of flax with 3 tablespoons of water and let it sit for about 5 minutes, it gets a little gummy, and that will have the properties of an egg in your recipe. You can do the same with chia, and I've never done it with hemp. So I don't know. Hemp are a little nuttier and chewier. I sprinkle those more on salads.
Hemp seeds?
Hemp seeds.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, not the hemp like you smoke.
I'm not interested.
So if you think, yeah, this sounds all right, I want to do that. I don't want to get heart disease, or I want to take care of the heart disease I have. Where are you going to find stuff? Well, this is the best place to find things. Linda has millions of recipes. We've got a great cookbook selection over here. You can Google anything. You can look at, here's just some websites that I like. And I think John, who's not here today, he gave me some of these names too. It seems when I'm Googling a recipe and I want like a plant-based, what did I just do recently? A plant-based 7-layer dip, let's say. Minimalist baker always comes up number one for me. Brand new vegan. I know John really loves that one, and I found some good stuff. PCRM is Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, and it's a great organization. Neil Barnard is the leader of that group, and they have a lot of recipes. You can also, Nutrition Facts is Dr. Greger, who spoke to us last year. Plant Strong, I love, Forks Over Knives. And I would just say the recipes you're going to get here too. Linda has them in binders. She's got the cookbooks. She has it all. So we're a great, and the people around you, just look around. They're all going to help you out too. And I said websites and apps, but also a lot of these websites will have podcasts. So if you ever listen to podcasts, they've got lots of great stories. So, okay, now I'm gonna take care of my heart. What am I gonna eat? Oh my gosh, I gotta eat something. So we want to have fruits and veggies every day. We know that because we want to have a lot of them. So maybe around 3 fruits a day, maybe around 4 vegetables. And if you're thinking, oh my gosh, I've got diabetes, I can't eat fruit. Whole fruit is okay. We don't want to be doing juice or purees, but the whole fruit is okay. And including the skin is even better. And aim for a fruit and or a vegetable at every meal. Whole grains, 5 a day, and those are like half cup servings, so those aren't really big. So when I have my oatmeal, I might have like a whole cup of oatmeal, so that counts as 2. If I have a sandwich with 2 pieces of bread, that counts as 2. So it's not hard to get up to your at least 5. And then protein, I try to have a good source of protein at every meal, whether that's going to be my nuts and seeds or beans or legumes, and those are going to contribute. So here would be sample meal. These are all the same thing. So breakfast, I'm going to have a fruit and a grain and either a protein or a dairy substitute. If I'm going plant-based, my dairy substitutes are going to be like soy milk or almond milk or rice milk or hemp milk. There's every kind of milk imaginable right now. So think about your breakfast, what you eat normally now. Do you feel like you're getting a fruit, a grain, and a milk or protein of some sort? That might be like my oatmeal with my berries on it and my soy milk, let's say. And then at lunch, we want to have a vegetable, a grain, and a protein. So think about your lunches. What do you normally have for lunch? Anybody? Lunch? Somebody, you guys, do you eat lunch? Let's start with that. Okay. We must eat lunch. What do we like to have? You have a salad. Okay. Salad will work totally. So we got our vegetables. Now in a salad, we might put some grain on there. Like if I had cooked up a pot of barley or quinoa, I might put a little scoop of that on there. And then my protein might be the beans I put on my salad.
Vegan chili.
Vegan chili. Excellent. That's what I'm having for dinner tonight. So I'm moving to the next one for that. Yes, you're right. So it's not really hard. It's just natural food. And if you're thinking, I'm not really plant-based yet, but normally I'm going to have a burrito for dinner. We turn that into a plant-based. We just have beans. We don't add the meat. So if you're just on your journey or just starting your journey, think about that. Think, well, what do I do now? How could I kind of plant-base it? Plant-base it up a little bit. And then snacks, if you want to have snacks, great. They're very appropriate if you're hungry. If you're not hungry, don't have snacks. I think we hear that we're supposed to have snacks all the time. And they're super appropriate when you're hungry, or if it's going to be a while to the next meal. But unless you're hungry, don't have a snack. And a snack shouldn't be an excuse to eat some junk food either. It should be a little mini meal of our things that are on that plate: fruits, vegetables, whole grains, beans. wouldn't eat a meal of Cheetos normally, so we wouldn't have that for our snack either. What's your favorite snack? Now that I just said that, and everybody's going, oh, Cheetos.
Prunes and dates.
Walnuts, prunes, and dates. I love it.
The one is really called citrus.
Ah, that sounds really good. You know, somebody here in our program taught me once that her snack at night was to have a date, and she put like a walnut in the date. You know how the dates have a little hole at the end. Yeah, and so I've started doing that too. So either almond or a walnut, but that's a great snack. Excellent. Vegetables and fruits are always go-to snacks too. What if you really didn't have a hankering for those things? What would we do? Okay, so let's say our snack might be a donut, but we wanted to healthy that up a little bit. What would we have? Can we healthy up a donut? Okay, carrot cake, he's trying to work his vegetables into there. We could have a flaxseed donut. We could anticipate that donuts are our snack of choice. So we could maybe make some muffins or something. We could throw our carrots. We could throw some kale in it too. We can make a nice muffin and then have those in the freezer. So we could pull those out instead of our donut. We could do that. It does take a while to get over wanting the donut. I know, just like with chocolate. It does. Okay, for meal planning, how are we going to plan a meal? Well, what's in season? All you have to do is look over here to see what's in season right now. Citrus. You got citrus up the wazoo over here. So at the farmer's market, there's all the citrus. I love when kumquats are in season and the mandarins. So see what's in season. See what's on sale. Often that's what's in season too, because that might help you make your shopping list. What's your week going to be like? Well, you got to come here a couple times a week, maybe 3 times. I don't know. You got doctor's appointment, you got classes, you got all kinds of things. So you want to think ahead to how's my week going to be? Well, maybe it's going to be so crazy. I'm going to make this big pot of chili on Sunday, and then I'm going to eat that through the week. So you want to plan it based on what your week's going to look like. Maybe pick out a few recipes, Google some, look in some cookbooks here. I like making a little menu. I know that's not for everybody. In fact, who knows what they're having for dinner tonight? You do? Did you raise your hand? You know what you're having for dinner? It surprises me that people don't know what they're going to have for dinner because I'm such a meal planner. So then what do you do? How do you decide what to have for dinner?
No, I do have it figured out.
You do?
Part over, some really nice spaghetti
Uh-huh.
and, I have broccoli salad.
Okay. Ooh, that sounds fun. All right. Okay, and I love that. And if you're good at just doing that, that's fine, but that still has got to go back to, I've got it when I go grocery shopping, I need to have in my cupboards a few go-to meals that you could throw together. Okay, I mean, you say you're anxious to tell us what you're having for dinner.
Salad, chicken stew, another made every day.
Oh my
And
gosh.
for meal prepping, I'll say, usually I'll go grocery shopping on Sunday, Sunday morning, and then I'll try to prep like a salad for the week,
Uh-huh.
and then some quinoa throughout the week, so that'll be my main thing, and the snacks, as I said, for the beef dry foods or mangoes, I really enjoy.
Mangoes are excellent. Okay, so Abu is a man after my own heart because he's doing just what I am. He's making some stuff on Sunday and he's going to throw these things together during the week. So you want to do whatever works for you. But I think it does, even if I'm going to throw it together with whatever's there in the cupboard, you got to have the stuff in the cupboard first. So thinking about that, thinking of your go-to meals and having the things for them. Get to know your store, your farmer's market, so that you know where you can buy the things that you like, stock that pantry with things like at any given moment in my pantry, I might have all kinds of canned beans and what else do I have in there? It's mostly beans, canned tomatoes, so I could make some soups and things. So your favorite items, some pasta, so some things that you love, have those in your pantry. And then prepping the foods for the week, I think is great, especially if you don't have time or don't want to cook every day. But if you got some chili in your freezer or in your fridge, then you don't have to worry about cooking. So the last 2 days we've been out of power, and I know I'm being a baby because some people are still out of power, but we were glad that we had in our freezer some soups that we had made so that we were able to go out on the grill and heat them up because we don't have gas in the house either. So, but then we didn't have to cook because we didn't have the right stuff. We weren't able to cook. So no, it came on in the middle of the night. Thank goodness. But I know some people's, and Leanne said hers is still out. And I like batch cooking too, where you make a big pot of something and you recycle it into other things if you want. So I think that's what my other slides are. Oh, here, what's in season? And I was just at the Davis Farmers Market. That is such a great farmers market.
We should be there during tomato season.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it is beautiful. So nice. But we have all the citrus. We've got all the cruciferous stuff up there on the left. So you got your kale and your broccoli. And one guy at the farmer's market in Davis he was selling everything, a bunch of whatever, like kale or broccoli, or 5 for $10. So $2 a clump, which is an excellent deal at a farmer's market. It was really good.
How do you go to Davis?
We met my sister there with my mom because my dad died 5 years ago, but it would have been their 63rd wedding anniversary. So we still celebrate the anniversary. I don't know when you stop doing that. But we got winter squash, we got apples. So check out what's in season. And then maybe, Prabhu, we're going to cook up a pot of quinoa. And now you're going to have it with your meal tonight, let's say. And quinoa is one of those super fast grains. Cooks in 15 minutes. If you have an Instant Pot, it cooks in like a minute. And then you're going to maybe heat up your leftovers for breakfast instead of oatmeal. I like to throw in a little brown sugar and fruit too, but still, we might just heat it up. So now we got breakfast. Maybe cold leftovers, you're going to add some veggies to that, and you're going to just add a vinaigrette, and now you got a salad. Maybe you're going to take those cold leftovers, add a little fruit and a sweet vinaigrette, like the citrusy ones nowadays are kind of sweet, or you're going to throw your leftovers into soup or stew or on top of a salad. So that pot of quinoa just lasted you all week, and it was different every single time. What if we cooked up a batch of lentils? Another bean or legume that's quick and easy, really. It doesn't cook very long. You don't have to pre-soak it. So we got this from the lentils.org. If you go to their website and sign up, they do send you a lot of stuff, which you might not love. So they're saying on Monday, they're going to take a half cup and add it in their smoothie. And I think we tried that once. Oh, I was just pointing at Linda, but she's not there anymore. A cup of lentils, and we're going to make tacos or burritos out of it. We're going to take a cup of lentils as a protein on top of our salad. We're going to take a half cup and we're going to turn it into a veggie patty. So you can take that and maybe mix it up with some beans or some, what else can you use? Breadcrumbs or something, some veggies, bless you. And you can make a little patty out of it. You could mix it with your tofu scramble. You could puree it and use it in baked goods, which is something I've never done. So I can't even attest to that, but I'm going to try it before I see you next. But that pot of lentils, now you did all kinds of things with it.
You've never had our banana lentil muffins?
I don't think so. Are they good? Oh, I'm going to try them. Okay. Oh, maybe we're doing baking in a couple of weeks. Maybe we should bake those. That would be fun.
I think the black bean brown.
You're right. Yeah. So we did the blackberry brownies. We're going to do a different brownie next time, though, that John loves, apparently. But yeah, we've done the blackberry brownies too. Or you cook up a batch of soup and then you serve it over a grain, or you reheat it on a big pile of kale, or you put it on a baked potato, or you put it into a pita or a burrito. That soup just became a million different things. I also just like to freeze it. So you're always going to pull it out, whatever's in there. You can make your big salad and you got all your dark greens, you got your veggies in it. And over the week, you're just going to add lots of different things to it. Canned beans, a grain, nuts and seeds, fruit, and you're going to eat different salad every single day. And if you're thinking that's not gonna last very long, when I worked, I worked 4 days a week and I made a big salad on Sunday that I put into 4 little containers and they lasted just fine all week. Can make a little bowl. Oh, I'm glad John's not here because he hates the Buddha bowl. Sorry, John. I have to talk about the Buddha bowl. So all those things that you've created this week, your little quinoa, your beans, your soup, maybe whatever it is, you put them all in a little bowl and now you create different bowls every day. So we had Linda suggested we talk about Super Bowl. So we can modify our favorite snacks. And like I mentioned to you, our family, we're all about the 7-layer dip, which is 7 layers, got beans and there's tomatoes on it and cheese and sour cream and I can't remember. It's 7 layers, green onions maybe. And so we modified that today, Angela and her helpers. And so the 7-layer that we did today is from this book. It's called The Foodie Bar Way. This is one of my friends and Paul's friend, Timmerie. She's a dietitian. She's in Florida right now. But I think we have this book here. Do we not? Oh. But her thought is, and I think it's perfect for like a Super Bowl or even for my family, when you have people who eat lots of different ways, you have everything available in a bar type style, and then they pick what they want. So the people who don't want to eat meat don't have meat. People who don't want cheese don't do cheese. People who are gluten-free avoid that part. So this one, she has it, and they assembled it in the true 7-layer fashion, but you could also have it all in individual little containers and people can make their own 7-layer dip. You could just add veggies to anything that you love to have. Like, let's say chili is what you guys do on Super Bowl. Then just add a bunch of veggies to it. You could leave the meat out if you wanted to, but you could leave that in and just add more veggies. I'm always the queen of the veggie tray that's in the shape of something. And so I love the football. I'm doing that this year. And then you could maybe have your hummus or things to dip it in. Of course, the guacamole is avocado and you could just make up guacamole. That's fine. You could take, in Timmerie's book, she took guacamole, she took the avocado and added some beans. So she increased the fiber of it and diluted the fat of the avocado a little bit. What Angela and friends did today was we made pea mole, which is blended up peas with green chili salsa and canned green chilies. And then that one, they're thinking that tastes a little too much like just green chili salsa. So then they doubled the peas in the next one. So it's green. It looks like guacamole. I don't know if it tastes like guacamole. But what? It fooled you? Okay, good. Okay, it fooled them. All right. And then I think what I'm serving this year too are sliders using jackfruit. And we've done some jackfruit here before. It comes in a can. You do the green jackfruit and it shreds. And then you throw some barbecue sauce on it. And next thing you know, you have pork sliders with the jackfruit. And it's very good. I think anything you put the barbecue sauce on tastes good, And then a lot of people are doing the cauliflower wings. So you take the little clumps of cauliflower and you bake them and you put them in wing sauce or a barbecue sauce or some kind of sauce. Again, anything with wing sauce, you kind of just think is a wing. But I don't know. I think that's what we'll be doing. What else do you guys do? Any ideas? Anybody have a Super Bowl? I know. Come on over. Anybody having a party? And by party, I mean just our family. But you guys are welcome. Anybody doing anything for Super Bowl? Oh, 49ers, Kansas City? No?
Well, the weather clears up, it might be better.
Well, here are some healthy things if you're going to have that, but then we can't forget about Valentine's Day either, which is coming up. So what about chocolate as part of our heart healthy diet? Well, luckily it can be part of one. So chocolate is a plant food. It comes from beans and cacao pods, and those are those big pods hanging on those trees. And then they take cacao nibs or crushed dried beans. And then cocoa powder is the dried cocoa solids. And so you can have dried like cocoa powder that you might add to your blended up frozen bananas for some nice cream. You have chocolate ice cream, and that's fine. Where we get into trouble with chocolate is when we add, caramel and nougat and sugar and oil to it and make a candy bar or whatever we put in cakes and things. And you can do a lot of plant-based baked goods with chocolate. And so I said, stay tuned, because next time John and I are going to do some baking tips. And so we'll do some more of those things. We could make chocolate cake. We absolutely could. Yes, you can make a nice, good, healthy chocolate cake. So today's Super Bowl recipe is the 7-layer dip. So we put it all in layers, but it's just refried beans, whatever your favorite guacamole is, or pimoli. You can do tomatoes and salsa. You can do olives. This is one thing that Tim Marie adds to hers that I love, is the corn. And she has the corn and she adds a little lime and zest and a little taco seasoning to that. And then some green onions. And they were really beautiful. Thanks to all of you who participated and did that. And I appreciate you doing it for me today.
I don't know, fresh ingredients.
The salsa could be jarred. I would have used jarred salsa.
Well, I forgot the refried beans.
Refried beans. Oh, those are canned. I bet. We use canned, right? Yeah. I mean, you can make your own, but yeah, they're just canned.
So you have to make sure you get the which is vegetarian.
Yes. Yes. Vegetarian, or like for the Rosarita, the zesty lime doesn't say vegetarian, but it is. But you're right. I'm glad you said to notice that, because some of those actually have lard in them.
Can be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some do.
There's some that you can get.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And they can be good. All of them are pretty high in salt. So what are you going to try this week or month? Any ideas? Anything we want to try new? Anything? And I forgot. I started off with, what's your why? Because you say, yeah, I just heard you say all this stuff, but why do I want to do it? I want to do it because I want to get off medicine, because I want to control my blood pressure, because I don't want to have a heart attack, because I don't want to be one of those statistics, because I want to be able to hang out with my grandchildren until they're old, because I want to be able to walk around. My mom's turning 90 in May and we're going to New York. So she's still walking around like crazy. And she keeps doing it because she can still do it. And my dad, actually, back in the day, he used to come here and play guitar sometimes. And he wrote a song, you got to still do what you can do while you still can do it. So we sing that song at home a lot. Well, I still can do it. So think about your why and think about what your goals are. So your goals might be just little tiny things. Your goal might, lots of people, okay, my goal is that I'm just going to eat plant-based. Well, that's an awesome goal. And that would be the outcome, but it takes some little goals to get there. Like to start out, I'm going to become plant-based at breakfast, or I'm going to go try a new whole grain, or whatever I'm going to do. So little goals lead up to that final outcome. And then pick a recipe or two maybe you'd want to try this week. I love trying new recipes. What's going to be on your menu if you're a menu maker like I am. If you're not, think about, choose your 3 or 4 go-to meals that's going to be on your shopping list. So then when you're standing there saying, what am I going to have for dinner? I can pull these things apart. So what will be your shopping list, and what maybe will you prep? Like Abu's going to do. He's going to like prep and make a salad and make quinoa and make things that he can just eat all week. And it depends on how quick and easy you want it to be during the week. If you don't mind cooking from scratch every night, go for it. I definitely don't want to do that. So I'm a batch cooker. So, and for your success, I can't remember who I stole this little line from, but I loved it, is make your environment look like your goals. So that's going to make it easier. So if your goal is to eat more plants, or to lose weight, or to control my diabetes, then your environment needs to back that up. So we're not going to have a bunch of, Hershey's Kisses around the house if that's going to be hard for us to say no to. We want to have in our cupboard the things that are going to help us stick with our goal. And then we go back to, what was our why? And all our decisions should go back to that. My why was, I don't want to get diabetes. So Is it help to have this stuff in the house? Or, you know, I want to exercise more, so I'm going to have my shoes out and or maybe I'm going to go get a new outfit. I used to have a lady who loved getting new outfits to do at workout in. That encouraged her to exercise. So have your environment look like your goals. And stay tuned in 2 weeks. John and I are here and we're going to do some baking and some swapping and things for baking. So any questions,
I
things?
wonder how much time you spend in your kitchen
Oh, I spend a lot.
every day?
No, I like on a day that I'm really prepping, I could spend 2 or 3 hours. And then, but dinners we can throw together in 10 or 15 minutes. But yeah. Okay, yes.
When you were still working doing nutritionists, I had a friend tell me about I can't pronounce the word, but I'll give you the initials. And if you, ASCVD, you know what that is, right?
Uh-huh.
So I think I told you asked you this last time. I was put on more medication because of, the risk. And is that what that is to determine your risk for having a stroke or heart attack?
So what's the AS stand for?
I have.
Cardio-
just can't pronounce it.
Yeah. So there's a score they do with, they put in your age and your cholesterol and your blood pressure. And then they do a calculation and come up with a score that is your risk of having a heart attack in the next 10 years. And so based on that, sometimes they'll say you should be, because of that risk, you should be on a statin drug, even though you think your cholesterol is doing okay, or it's based on that. I think the stats show that it's helpful. But what would you say to that, Sharon? So somebody like, you feel like you're doing okay, and then they do the score and they say, and your cholesterol's fine, and then they say you should take it.
The whole thing was made up, if I remember correctly, to determine whether or not to put you on a drug to lower your cholesterol. And somebody who has no risk factors at all, like blood pressure, weight, never smoke, you may have a borderline cholesterol reading, but they won't put you on it because the risk outweighs the benefit. So it's just a way of saying, well, this person, because they have some hypertension, they have, diabetes or borderline diabetes or overweight, then their risk is greater. So it's better to put them on it. It's a way of evaluating whether the risk of going on the medication is greater than the risk of your current medical status.
And in your case, Paul, probably your biggest risk is the one that you don't have any control over, and that's the fact that you probably got a year older.
Dang.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what he told me, because of it's in my family. My dad had
Right.
high blood pressure.
Right, if you're over 60, so bam, here you go.
Yeah, it depressed me because I'm so hard trying to get back on track, and then,
Do you think you can fight it?
Good job, with other things. Even if they do start you on a cholesterol lowering medication, the dosage will probably be very low, which means you're not getting much risk from being on the medication itself.
Good. What if I know? That?
But it, I'm taking whatever.
I'll have to look it up, but it was 25, and that was the statin. You talking about statin?
Yeah, that Lipitor, they might start you on 10.
Yeah.
I see high, but I don't know.
No, that's the low dose. So
25,
that's what I'm
25
saying,
is low.
you're putting yourself at a greater advantage because they won't have to take one entire dose, you'll be on a very dose.
So 25 is a low dose?
I don't know what you're on.
Oh.
So do you think if your doctor were to tell you that, you could fight it? You could say, would it be beneficial to say, I'd really not want to be on that?
Well, it depends. Dr. Capodato, what he used to do is if your number was really in the high zone and,
Yeah.
it was causing inflammation, he'd want to get it down. So he'd say, yes, you should go on a cholesterol lowering medication now, but let's go full bore into the diet and the exercise and keep your blood pressure under control. And then we can wean off the cholesterol medication. We may end up being nothing.
Right.
Sometimes they wanna just get you on it to get that number down, and then in future you can go off. But if it's borderline, and you don't have any other risk factors, I would say you could say, well, you know, I really wanna give this plant-based diet and getting my blood pressure under good control, whatever it is, a chance, and ask your doctor if I can, you know, give it another 3 months and check it again. Like, do
Mhm.
this full board
Right.
attack.
And you know, they do that with diabetes too. If your numbers are really high when you walk in there and you're diagnosed, they want to get you on a medicine to get that down fast, because while your blood sugars are so high, that's causing a lot of damage.
Inflammatory, pretty inflammatory state, so, you know, they may wanna just get it down.
But then I think that's what we always hear is once you start a med, you can never get off of it. But I don't believe that's true. No. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Debbie.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Happy Super Bowl.
Oh,
And happy Valentine's. And John, we need to just touch base about our baking. I'll email you. I missed you today, but I'm going to stop sharing. Oh, are you there? Are you talking?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Well, I'll email you about
Okay,
what you do. Okay.
this is.
sounds good.
We're still on it, right?
Yeah.
As far as I know.
Okay. I think we are. All right.
all this
So we'll
out.
see all of you in
Based
2
on your
weeks.
age,
Well, you'll see everybody before that.
your
Okay.
pressure,
Thanks.
your
Bye, everybody. Bye, John.
Do you know what
See you.
I'm turning you off.
estimator to?
never done.
John, let's make those raspberry jam grants.
Or.
Oh, I'm excited what I'm eating.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. I think
I've never seen this Zoom view.
Well, that's it, themselves have-
2 weeks from now? It's like.
Huh.
There are some,
20s?
companies like that, so they have.
we're still recording.
Stock, and they have